You recently went to TRE, the running event in Austin, Texas. Got to see a lot of really cool pictures. It looks like you had an absolute blast. Tell me, what's the running event?
It is a culmination of running products, brands who are trying to be discovered, and apparel as well. So booths set up for brands to showcase their new product, and for retailers such as us to come up and speak with them about selling their product or what their new product entails.
Okay, sweet. Why'd you go?
To spread the word, to get people excited about Aktiv, to start putting a face to the name, instead of being an email in someone's inbox. We were able to hand out a business card and shake some hands and say hello, make some introductions.
Very nice. What were some of the brands that were there? I mean, I know we saw, gosh, everybody, Asics.
X Bionic was one of the cooler, just wild brands I saw. Never
What's
heard of
X Bionic?
Funky, crazy looking shoe with this huge outsole, and it's supposed to move like with your body as you run.
Smart shoe.
Not really a smart shoe, but it was the way they were speaking about it was springs. Like it was like a car, like the mechanics of a car. It was very interesting. It was just a completely different looking shoe that kind of blew me away.
Awesome. Some of my favorite brands were there.
Okay.
Loved Satisfy's setup. The picture, I was jealous. I wanted to go.
Satisfy had the coolest vibe. I had to check in my phone. No phones allowed. Felt like a club. It's like, hey, sign in here. And I was like, sure. Okay. Like, what do you guys got in here? This must be crazy. Yeah. It was really cool. They had a lot of very cool stuff, and they were debuting their fall winter trail shoe.
Yeah, I've seen it online. It looks really cool. I saw they had some really cool art direction in their booth with like the suspended clothing that's like between the wires, and so it was really cool. Any other brands or booths stand out to you?
Oh gosh, Craft Sportswear. They had a very elegant booth, huge, very cool booth. The most exciting one, honestly, was Mount to Coast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had a very humble booth, but it was crazy. I had to come back multiple times just to try to talk to Doug. Doug was the person who I ended up speaking with, to make the connection. But Doug was a busy guy.
I can imagine. You have a pair of Mount to Coast.
I do. I love them.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. So it was very cool to not only meet them and shake hands and do an introduction, but also say, hey, like I run in your product, and I think it's great.
And there's so many cool brands that are like making big waves. So many like niche brands that are making big waves in the running industry. And as you know, like somebody who is on Instagram scrolling through running material, it's really cool to see some of these brands that feel like they're for me.
Yes, being at the running event felt perfect for Aktiv because we are going to be that center hub. And if I was a consumer, I would have loved to go to the running event. Yeah. It was an event to look at products that have yet to be discovered.
We're going to put the running event on platform. That's what it's going to be. I see you're sporting your Diodora hat.
A lot of brands are doing what's called a relaunch, or they're trying to recapture market in the United States. So Diodora has been around since, I believe, 84.
I think I played soccer in their cleats when I was like in third grade.
Yeah, and they had a huge exposition. They were really trying to launch in the States and be normalize high mileage. They have a very cool.
I love the slogan.
Very cool slogan.
Yeah.
So that was a cool brand to see, kind of the historic brand relaunching to be, come recapture some of the market in the States.
I feel like there's a cultural push for almost like in the running culture, this longing for like the days of getting back to just like going out and crushing it with your friends. Yes. Like this idea of normalized high mileage, right? It's like, we're not going to overthink this too much. We don't need to track every little metric, but we want to go out and like have a good time and forget.
We want to escape.
Yeah. We want to forget. Like we're out here escaping on a, 2.5, 3 hour run. It's phenomenal.
I mean, depending on who you are, that might be why you run, to achieve the runner's high, to escape, to be on your own, doing what you want to do. And that was a very fun environment to be in, and just discuss that and discuss the social sport aspect of, let's just go crush a run.
Yeah. Which is old school. That is old school, to be honest. This, idea of like early US running Olympic marathon lore, it's like you just had these groups of runners who weren't overthinking it too much and just going out and getting after it.
Just doing it. Yeah, just putting product to pavement and making it normal, making it just something you do every day.
Absolutely. Who was the single most interesting person that you connected with?
Single most interesting person. Probably Ron from Normal. Okay. Normal, very cool. Ron was from Australia. Okay. So he had just a lot of cool stories to tell. A very interesting individual. He had made a huge trip back to the States to come to the running event to help showcase product for Normal. And he was very fun to connect with. And again, just a normal guy, just someone who's very similar, very likable, very relatable. And we were just able to chat and talk about product and talk about like what we'd like to do and what keeps us going.
You being a industry guy, did you get the opportunity to nerd out a little bit on the ins and outs of the apparel and footwear industry?
Yeah, there was a lot of very funny kind of low key banter in terms of, and I don't want to out people per se, but I would go to a certain booth, like a kind of a niche brand, and talk to them and kind of get into conversation and be like, well, like, were you here last year, or like what was the setup like last year? Just trying to like get an understanding of who they are. One individual was like, oh well, I had this prime location, and then Nike came in and swooped my spot.
I can imagine.
And he was not happy about it.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to feel the vibe around the niche culture, the artisans who are making product for people, a very specific cohort of people who they believe in, who they just need to reach. These niche brands are really artisans who are trying to make a product for a specific set of people, and they just want to get that product right in front of that target market.
I love that.
It was very cool to see the camaraderie between the niche brands of, oh yeah, like did you check out the Mount to Coast booth? Like what they got cooking over there is great. It was really cool to see kind of like industry up and comers giving a nod to other folks there. It was very cool.
Game, recognized game.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. You see that. And frankly, like those brands that you would think about being kind of like in their teenage years, coming up in the game, they're going to push each other, and we're going to see some really cool stuff.
Yeah, they're going to pressure test each other. They're going to try to jump into a market that they see their competitor doing well in, and they're going to try to take some of that market share as well. And they're going to try to innovate in that space and push forward where other brands are not willing to.
To us as the consumers benefit.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yes, and the hardest part, though, in my opinion, being the consumer, is how do you find that product? How do you know that a brand is quite literally innovating in a space that you are in?
Shameless active plug inserted.
Oh, it's not shameless. I think it's humbling to be in that space, to recognize that we want to help people discover products that brands are at a mountaintop shouting from, saying, "We made this for you. Come find us."
I'll tell you, recently, was talking to my wife about 3 of the brands that we had connected with. She was like, I've never heard of them. And I pulled up their website and started showing her some product. And she's like, oh, these are sweet. She's like, I'd wear those shoes. Those are awesome. But had you not brought this to me, I never would have known they existed.
That is the feeling I had walking around TRE and just kind of in general. I mean, we've been doing research on brands for months now, and there were at least 5 that we had never heard of at this event, which was beautiful and both mind-blowing at the same time. Right. 910, that's a brand that comes to mind. I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Ulysses.
Ulysses, yeah.
G-Defy, Gravity Defy is like their full name. They were just
High Racer.
Just a plethora of product. waiting for people to discover, waiting for people to connect.
And they all have their own signature and style and footprint, pardon the pun. But like they all have their own identity. And it's so cool because I run with so many different types of runners as a PT. I have so many different types of runners from like an identity and cultural standpoint that come in. And it's so cool to see that there's a brand out there that is freaking for you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And like you said, it's exciting. It's like, gosh, we could be the medium and the engine to deliver you a product that makes you feel good. That is what excites me about what we're doing is how can we help you, someone who wants to go out there and hustle and pound pavement every day, feel confident about, yeah, this product, like this brand made it with me in mind. Oh, sorry, just popping into my head. There was a lot of women only brands, which was amazing. So cool because men and women's bodies are so different that it makes sense for a women's brand to make women's only shoes for their cohort. That was really neat. That was very exciting to see, just like a huge uptick and representation, honestly, like confidence and representation to have a women's only line and build your brand around that. That's very cool.
Absolutely. Love that. That's good.
Right?
A lot of good stuff there.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's really good.